Wait, what is CBD isolate powder crystal? What is that? Let me just look that up real quick. CBD crystal. Whoops. There we go. Pure CBD isolate, huh? Bro, this shit looks like cocaine or meth. Oh man. Or salt. It this picture here reminds me of like when my dad and I used to make sugar crystals. We'd put a popsicle stick in some like water with sugar and pull it out. Nice. Oh my god, I keep running out of battery on this damn thing. Useless. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's cannabinoids isolate. Oh, that's why they call it isolate. So the thing is that I need a combination of CBD and THC in order to have the like extreme inflammatory effects, like anti-inflammatory effects. Sorry. Yeah, I need full, like, whole spectrum. I didn't know you can actually feel anything from the isolate. Do you smoke weed regularly, or like anything with THC? Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, I'm going to give a few updates. Loaf is an old friend of mine. Hopefully he'll be popping by in the stream in a little bit. He was just in Iraq, and you know, he probably could share some really cool stories with us. I'm really looking forward to it. Just looking at the comment, I do not smoke or actively, okay. I just have a supply of CBD products and various nootropics. It's a hobby. I never considered it being a hobby. Very interesting. I got another update. Tomorrow, once again, I will be announcing the winner of the GK64. If you haven't entered, go ahead and find my Instagram, uploadTwashe. And leave a comment here. Tonight's your last chance, so go get it. An update for the archives. So what we've been doing lately is putting all of the streams on YouTube as kind of like a video on demand. So for people who miss it or miss the live show, they can go watch it. And I've seen that a couple people have been looking at it. Excuse me. But what I want to do is, since each week we go through these videos and so each week we stream, you know, on recent events and recent happenings, you know, that information kind of expires after about a week. So we'll be archiving them. So for 1 week, you'll be able to see the shows, the pre-recorded or streamed shows, and then it's going to go away the next week. So I've removed all of last week from YouTube. And then another thing is I want to start doing topic ideas and hearing what you guys want to hear, talk about, essentially. I want to kind of, so I'm thinking about putting together a form. You can throw in your ideas for topics for the week and leave some overall general feedback for the show. And then one last update on the YouTube channel. I'm waiting on the Mel Geek Ember 60. Subscribe now if you aren't to my YouTube channel on uploadTwashe. So the Mel Geek Ember is a pretty interesting keyboard. If you haven't heard of Mel Geek, they basically have these really cool handmade cables from Geek Cable in China. So what I'm looking at is this model, and I'll be reviewing it as soon as I get it. It's just taking a long ass time. But it's a nice little 60%. They give you these SA caps for free, and it's Bluetooth, which is kind of nice. They come in 2 colors. They come in the kind of silvery thing, and then this like semi-clear dark plastic. They're both plastic, by the way, but I know that they sell an aluminum case for this. It just costs extra. So they'll give you these really nice SA keycaps. It's a nice overall deal. I forgot how much it costs. I think it was maybe 140 or something, but it's not a bad looking board. Okay. I will let's see. Let's start with something. I'm trying to save some time while I wait for my co-host here. I don't know these freaking songs, man. It's so hard to find different songs. All right, I will start with something pretty light here. Cyberpunk 2077? Developers say multiplayer won't be available until after 2021. I feel like I'm the only one excited for this game. It looks fantastic. NC, have you heard of this this game? It's really not my style. I think it's like an open world, and you do like quests in it. I would really love to see a multiplayer out of this, basically because I'm obsessed with the cyberpunk world. Yeah, it's I mean, to me, it's got to be a must. But you know, I'm obsessed with like steampunk and cyberpunk. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this world, man. Yeah, they did announce a delay. I wouldn't be surprised if they delayed it some more. And honestly, it looks so cool. I'm just so concerned that it's going to be a bit disappointing. You know, it's like what was that game? That game that was like the largest Kickstarter project ever. Star Citizen. Yeah, I'm worried that something like Star Citizen is gonna be is gonna happen. I don't know. Like they're just never. It's just never gonna come out. But Cyberpunk actually started as a fictional series. Author. Did somebody just pop in?
Yo, it's Lux.
Hey, Lux. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you for making it. And you've got NC here. We're talking about Star Citizen, the kind of the failure of Star Citizen a little bit, and then I'm worried about Cyberpunk 2077 being a little bit of a Star Citizen situation. But I mean, you're right, NC. It is technically playable right now, but I mean, yeah, it is. So Cyberpunk actually started off as kind of a, hold on, I'm trying to find some like music. They're like messing with me and my music right now. In the last stream, I got dinged for copyright. So I'm just trying to make sure I have like copyright free music. The dev of MSC is a massive control freak who won't hire new people and allow them to work on their magic. Yeah. I think, well, I heard also that there was just like some serious organizational problems there. Like, you know, they kept changing the way they wanted the game to be built. And that kind of makes it difficult for anybody to build anything if like halfway through development you say, hey, now I want it this way. Or I want it that way, and then it adds extra time.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen so many games that have done that sort of shit.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm super into Destiny, and it's sort of famous for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Destiny,
Destiny 1 and Destiny 2.
I have no idea how to spell Destiny. That's okay.
I mean, both. You've heard of Destiny for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
They were both reworked. Like the game was finished, and then execs decided they wanted to go in a different direction at the last minute.
Oh my god!
And they had to like basically scrap the entire game and build it out in less than a year.
Oof!
And it's just so clear from both games at release that it was like, this is basically an unfinished product.
You can't put that kind of pressure on developers, man. You'll always get kind of a half-assed product, you know? You might as well, like, at a certain point, you just have to keep going and build on quality and hope that, you know, that quality is recognized.
Yeah.
But speaking of cyberpunk, it's actually a subgenre of science fiction, and you know, for those of you who don't necessarily know me, you know, I go to AA meetings, and I met one of the like pioneers of this genre. Yeah, he was an author, and he was going to our meetings, and I was like, wait, who?
Is it one of these guys?
It's one of these guys. I'm not gonna say who. You know, it's a
That's cool.
It's an anonymous thing, you know what I mean? But it's one of these people here somewhere. But yeah, if you're really into like you know, Scanner Darkly, or you know, even I mean, anime itself is, you know, more or less cyberpunk. And
yeah, for sure. There was
know.
That show that just came out like in the last couple of years on Netflix, Altered Carbon. It's a really good.
Wait. Is that an anime, or is that?
It's live action, and it's based on a novel. It's like a sci-fi cyberpunk novel.
Wait. I think I did see that. I did see the whole thing. Is there a new season or something, or?
It was one season. I don't know if they're going to do season 2, but it was good.
Huh.
Yeah, these sort of like technocratic, dystopian future societies.
Yeah.
Super interesting. Altered Carbon, I feel like, hit a little close to home too, because it was based in San Francisco. So that's like, we're already moving in that direction.
Yeah, I know, right? Speaking of San Francisco, did you know that California is like would be the 5th largest world economy if it was its own country?
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
I mean, everybody's been talking about how California should be its own country.
Yeah, last time I checked, it was 8. But yeah, I didn't know it moved up to 5. But
Yeah.
either way, it's like massive.
Yeah, they're pretty self-sustaining over there. I mean, you guys, because
And,
it's only me who's not there
outside of
anymore.
water. I think the only thing we don't have, like obviously besides defense, is water.
That's right. You get it from Nevada, right? No. See,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
yeah. I'm so excited you came, Lux. Okay, so we were talking about last week about Samsung's AR glasses, right?
Yeah.
Mojo, a company called Mojo, is creating augmented reality contacts. So, yeah, I think they're far ways from this, but they're trying to spin it with kind of this like, hey, the first early adopters are going to be like firefighters and people who like could use this in the field, and then maybe it'll go to the masses. But I mean, this is the future, and I think you were even not really all about AR glasses, but I think you'd probably be into this, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's supposed to have a processor, a wireless module in it and a battery, and it's supposed to all fit in this tiny little contact. I mean, sucks for me because I can't, like, I went to the doctor and the optometrist, and I tried to get contacts because I wear glasses, and I spent 3 hours trying to get it in another hour with the doctor panicking to get it back out. I was so terrified, dude. Have you tried contacts?
Yeah, I wear contacts.
Contact falls out, information is gone, you die. See you in the next life.
It reminds me of that show. What's that show?
Black Mirror, right? The episode with Black Mirror.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that shit's the future, man. It has to happen, and I'm just glad that somebody's even exploring it to begin with, because it just has to happen. They're a long way from approval, but I mean, just think about improving your vision through these contact lenses, like maybe you're driving and it zooms in on like a sign, or you know what I mean? There's more than like beyond what we kind of know to, for like smartphones use cases and stuff like that.
I mean, what if they were able to create a platform with it that could like connect to like something like Neuralink? You know what I mean?
Wait, what is Neuralink?
Neuralink, Elon Musk's most recent company.
Oh.
Where they're like connecting shit to your brain and stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the future, bro. That's the future in brains in a jar.
If it's got a processor, like there's no reason why you couldn't connect it to your brain through something like Neuralink.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
Like, you could start. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it seems like
I can't wait. I can't wait. It's gonna be so cool. It's gonna be so cool.
For sure.
And you know what? This might happen when I'm like retired and I got nothing to do with my life, so I'll just play with this shit all day.
Exactly.
Okay, so there's this Ripple. Have you guys heard of Ripple? It's a cryptocurrency. And apparently they spent $170K this past year in 2019 lobbying Trump staff on blockchain and cryptocurrency. And the year before, they actually spent $450K trying to do that.
So what are they lobbying for? I feel like there's already no regulation.
Yeah. They've been trying to partner with banks and become like the de facto currency, and they, what is it? actually one of the people who was working over at my company at it years ago, he ended up working for Ripple. And back then, nobody really thought it was anything. People still don't think it's much. I mean, their transaction time happens really quick, but it's more centralized than I guess, the community would like it to be. But that works well for like governments, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the reason why I got out of Bitcoin in the first place, is because like if the government decides like, hey, we really want to adopt this, it's a public ledger. So anything that happens on there, the government, you can't hide cash underneath your bed anymore.
Yeah.
They know where it is, and they can probably auto tax you, remove your money from your wallet or whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Speaking of which, China is about to, they do tax crypto, but imagine getting taxed, automatically. And they should be, they shouldn't. I mean, I think taxation is a crime, and I don't want to get into that in the moment, but that's a topic for another day. But yeah, China.
NC's got a good question though. Like, do they tax crypto now? Like, okay, I must have read that wrong. Yes, they do tax crypto now. You have to report your Bitcoin. So they tax it as a what is it called? As an asset, right? So like as soon as you sell your Bitcoin for cash, that's the point that you get taxed. Like a stock, right?
Right, like a stock asset, right? It's not only BTC; it's basically any currency that you can convert to fiat. But technically, you should be reporting all your trades into BTC too. But I don't think anybody does, and it's really hard to trace at this moment. Like, it will take tremendous amounts of manpower to even try to do that. But China is going to be tokenizing and releasing their own digital currency. And I think the U.S. is going to, rumor goes that the U.S. is going to do the same.
Well, hopefully if China does it, then it'll get a bunch of bad press. And then the U.S. will it might cost too much political capital. You know what I mean?
Possibly. That's possible. And the weird thing is about it is I don't think people are really talking about how that could affect people's everyday life. Cryptocurrency is great because it has nothing to do with the government, right? But as soon as the government utilizes blockchain, it then becomes a serious threat to, privacy, to, just the government has so much power to like start pulling your money away. NC says if it's only selling and not buying, then theoretically I could just buy assets during high spikes and avoid taxation.
Yeah, you don't even have to do that, NC. You could just you could keep it in the account. So you could still sell it and then roll it over as long as it stays in the account.
The other thing that I've been using recently is this thing called Nexo. It basically allows you to, you put in your Bitcoin or crypto as an asset, and you can take dollars out of it as a loan. And the reason it benefits for two reasons. One, it's got a ridiculously low interest rate if you pay with Nexo crypto. And two, if you have the same amount of cash, so say you have like one Bitcoin. If you have the same amount of cash, same amount of value in cash, they also give you 8% per year if you have the same, for USDC or, US dollars. So you can basically pay your interest for free just by keeping the same amount in there. And what this does is it allows you to avoid taxation because you're not actually selling your Bitcoin.
Or you're just borrowing on it.
Right, exactly. But you get interest for USD, the euro, and I forget what GBP is. So you get 8%, and the interest on the credit line is actually way less. It's like, I think it's like 3 or 4%. So
Pretty sure GBP is Greenwich British Pound.
That's right. They are $100 million insured on custodial assets. There's no credit card approval, no hidden fees. Yeah, we'll talk more about it later. But definitely very interesting. So Andrew Yang's not the only person doing the universal income thing. There's this guy in Japan, he's a billionaire. He's about to give $9 million away in a social experiment giveaway. Whenever I have videos on here, my shit pauses. So he's gonna give $9,000 to 1,000 followers, which is pretty crazy. I guess I still don't know what the point is, but it's interesting that other people are trying to rally behind it.
Is it one lump sum?
Probably time to follow him on Twitter for sure. Let's see. Basic means yeah.
Just start following him on Twitter and comment like 4 or 5 times on every single one of his posts.
Oh, right.
Just to get yourself into the algorithm.
Yeah. All right. This I found and I thought would be really interesting for you, Lux. The first investment platform for art. So you buy artwork and they file. So I guess the way it works is Masterworks sources paintings and commits its capital to purchase them. They file an offering with the Securities and Exchange Commission to offer it publicly. Investors can then invest in the painting by purchasing shares. Masterworks sells the painting and proceeds are distributed accordingly. So I've seen some like serious artworks here, but like I guess they're about to release trading.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept for sure. You know, I told my girlfriend, I said like, hey, you know what? Why don't I get you something other than a ring? Because a diamond ring's going to depreciate over time. It's going to depreciate by 50% after I buy it for you. So can I buy you a piece of art as like an engagement gift? Because at least it will appreciate, you know?
What'd you say?
Oh, no, fuck no. Fuck no. She was so upset. She was so upset. Yeah, that's not going to happen, man. But I mean, it's quite interesting. Okay.
It is really interesting. I don't know. Yeah, so this is kind of what I would be concerned about is how do you value the art?
How do you value art in general? Like, it's all based around like storytelling, right?
I honestly don't have the slightest clue.
Well, so I used to sell art in LA, right? And we would sell my neighbor's painting for like $8,000, which would pay for weed and drugs for like the month, the next month or two for the both of us until we could sell another painting, right? And really, it's just a load of bullshit. You find rich people, you invite them to a party, you host a gallery, and then you like you wine and dine them, and you talk lots of bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, older works, like Monet's and stuff, I mean, they have a story behind it,
Right.
And people want that. But modern art, man, I tell you what, I went to the museum, the MoMA in New York, and I don't get it, man. Don't get it. Some of them are just like a canvas with the color red on it.
Yeah, I feel. I mean, I think MoMA's pretty cool, but MoMA has more like old school modern art. It's not like the stuff they're doing nowadays.
Well, I also
Like
have
MoMA,
MoMA by me in Queens, and that's like more forward thinking. You know, they have like,
oh yeah.
you know, they have
Have you been to the
exhibits
one in
where
Manhattan?
I've been in the one in Manhattan. Yeah.
They have what's his name? The Spanish guy that cut his ear off.
I'm not.
Pablo Picasso.
Oh, maybe I'm just not a art person. Fuck it. Cool concept if I can make money off of it.
Yeah.
NBA player promises to give all his teammates Bitcoin if his Ethereum-based bond is approved. So this guy is going to the NBA and saying, "Hey, I want to put my 3-year contract into a bond and make it a digital token that I'll then sell to people." I don't get it, but Spencer Dwitties?
Yeah.
Dinwiddie's? Do you know? I mean, you follow basketball?
No. Back a digital token designed as an investment vehicle.
Yeah.
Allows fans and investors to buy tokenized shares of his 3-year contract.
Yeah. So it's supposed to launch soon. Where is it? Why can't I click on anything here? Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna play this really quick. Whew. It's really loud. He's about to talk. I know that.
It's supposed to have launched 2 days ago.
My name is
3 days ago.
Some of you may know me as the mayor, the guy that drew his own shoes, the kid that's going to be Tony Stark one day.
Kid
Or
is
the guy
going to
that
be
almost
Tony
got
Stark.
kicked out of the league trying to do some fun stuff with his contract. Well, due to legal reasons, I can't necessarily talk about the Shield versus Spencer Dinwiddie. But with that being said, the bond will happen in 3 days. January 13th not only marks the release of the bond, but also one last week of All-Star voting. Now, when speaking about an All-Star nomination for somebody like me, I view it as a team award, full of team success. So that's why, if I'm voted into the All-Star game and my bond is fulfilled, I'm going to be giving all of my teammates Bitcoin. Not only that, I'm also going to take 8 fans with me to the All-Star game, part of the Spencer Dinwiddie experience for token holders. Thank you for believing me. And remember, a vote for me is a vote for fan engagement. See you soon.
He's so serious, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He thinks he's young Tony Stark.
That's crazy, dude. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty crazy. John McAfee. He is saying, "Hey, I got you. Do you have a podcast focused on libertarian politics, freedom, or crypto? Need a guest? I'm available to anyone with a few hundred subscribers or more." So hopefully, if we can get this show up to, or at least my YouTube up to 200, I'll reach out to Mrs. Janice McAfee.
that would be cool.
If you don't, yeah, it would be really cool. It would be really cool. I know I mentioned this to you before. Yeah.
Didn't he say he was going to cut his dick off or something?
So he recently backed out of that. He's like, come on, people. Like, we all know Bitcoin's like really old technology, and like, you know, he's just totally backed out of it. And like but for like 2 years, he was like, Bitcoin to $1 million. And you know, if it's not, I'm going to eat my dick.
And it's nowhere near $1 million, right?
Well, I mean, I think he figured, you know, it could still happen, but I think John McAfee's maybe he backed out of it, or maybe he was just trying to build some hype. We've seen him build hype around other things before, so.
Yeah. I mean, I've told you this so many times now. I have a hard time seeing the value proposition.
Well, I mean, listen, if you can send like millions of dollars, to somebody else without a bank, for like a couple dollars, then there's value in that.
I guess, man, it's hard for me.
Listen, I paid $200 in transaction fees for a deal with a Chinese manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost wanted to just be like, hey, do you like accept crypto, because it would be a heck of a lot cheaper if I just paid with crypto. It'd be $200 cheaper.
I guess I could see something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is just this idea of removing the middleman. That's an accomplishment in itself. And whether or not this is like the de facto way to do this is to be determined. But I think it's a step in a unique direction. Yeah. Speaking of that, DeFi Pulse. So this is like a website where they talk about everything that is decentralized finance. So far, all the companies and projects that have been dealing with decentralized finance, like lending, interest, 788 million. And these are all the projects ranked. It's an interesting site to just kind of like watch. I know Compound. Compound is a project that gives you interest for your crypto. I don't know what Maker does, to be quite honest. I mean, why would I lie? But yeah.
That's interesting. It sounds kind of small.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, totally. I mean, it's just getting started, but you see it grow over time.
I'm not sure if I understand. So 788 million is the size of crypto market. Is that what this is?
No. Decentralized finance. So we're talking services like lending and interest earnings and savings, in the cryptocurrency space. So like Nexo is like similar to that. Compound is a company that'll like give you interest for storing crypto with them and that kind of stuff. Decentralized finance, the idea of decentralized finance is an interesting one, I think. Here's another site.
God, they're doing derivatives in crypto? What the fuck?
So they could be doing derivatives as like decentralized like derivatives.
It's so hard to wrap your head around. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and I think it's a space to like keep an eye out just in case. Like if this becomes really big, it'll be a good idea to just kind of like monitor it,
Yeah.
And that's why these sites are so interesting to me. You have projects in analytics, you have projects in all sorts of different things. Anyways, yeah, decentralized.
What is the analytics?
Autonomous organizations. This is really interesting. Like this is like a way of running a company without, having like stakeholders and banks facilitate a lot of your entire organization. What was that? Analytics?
Oh man, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
An entirely automated company?
Yeah.
Yeah, analytics. Go to analytics, yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. Discovery, interpretation, and communication of meaningful patterns of data, the process by... You know, I haven't really looked at too much of this stuff, but
it's just the analytics that they use for it. It's not like analytics
for
driven by-
decentralized finance. Yeah. Well, you know, they're gonna need analytics for blockchains. It's transparent, but it's still very hard to find things. So there's like opportunity there. But
It should be relatively simple, I would imagine.
yeah.
I mean, isn't it all? It's all tracked. Isn't that the whole point?
Yeah, it is. But like,
It's fair.
let's go to Etherscan. I mean, well, first off, you have to sync a node to the network and then, you know, sift through all that, right? So all you see are these transactions and hash codes, you know? This is information, it's not a story. And you know this coming from analytics is that you need to be able to tell a story with this stuff. Not
No,
just
of course. I'm saying that the biggest challenge of analytics for any organization, any company, is capturing the data to begin with.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's really, that part is pretty straightforward. It just needs to be made.
Yeah, that's something that's also a challenge, but
Yeah. Let's see. I know this is a very crypto heavy thing, but a lot of things happened this week in crypto, which is kind of crazy. Craig Wright. Have you heard of him?
no.
Wait, what?
Judge orders Craig Wright to prove he's Satoshi.
Yeah, so Satoshi Nakamoto is supposedly the inventor of cryptocurrency, and he's been claiming this for years. He's said that, you know, his billions are locked in what's called a tulip trust, and I have no idea what a tulip trust is, but it was supposed to be his key. So everybody's like, hey, why don't you move some money around to prove hold on one sec, to prove that you are him. And he says, well, I can't, because the access to those keys are locked up in a trust with, you know, between me and my partner who put it together. And that trust is supposed to be delivered by a bonded courier, much like in Back to the Future. Do you remember when Marty sees the DeLorean shoot back in time, right? Some dude's supposed to come and like give it to him, and he hasn't given any details of it, but he's in this court case with the family of his partner who claims that he needs to split half of that. And he's just released some details about it, and he's been ordered to unlock that money in 20 days. Whoops, let's see. Here's the courier thing. Is this the same article? I wonder.
Yeah,
if it was...
I think it said it down there. It was down there.
Right. The missing key. So apparently it's been delivered, and his crypto, he's created what he calls to be the true Bitcoin. Oh, NC's back. So what stops him from moving money as proof? What stops him, according to him, is that the keys are encrypted in a tulip trust, and the way to encrypt that, unencrypt that, is going to be delivered by a courier. That's what I was trying to say. So like, technically, he should be able to gain access to it rather soon. Meanwhile, Bitcoin SV, which is what he claims to be the true Bitcoin, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision or whatever, is skyrocketing in value. It's gone up 150% since new details of this quote tulip trust have come to light.
You think he's manipulating the market?
I think that he's full of shit, is what I think. So my see, look at this. Boop. it's gone up dramatically, dude. In like the past few days. It's
Wow.
you know. My co-founder came up to me and he said, what if somebody decided to patent or copyright Bitcoin? And we explored this years ago, and we came to the conclusion that nobody could really stop us. And that's what this guy is doing.
Huh.
So, you know, because nobody knows, you know, he's just staying strong to it, you know, and the chances of like the actual inventor coming out are very, very low over, you know, some stupid, silly drama like this, some crazed dude. And there's a chance that he might just be the guy. And if he is, well, who cares?
Well, what if all of that is a lie and he's just doing it in order to manipulate the market?
Right. No, manipulate his own cryptocurrency for sure.
Yeah,
NC
exactly.
says the creator of BTC makes a system that locks him in and requires him to drop anonymity to claim his goods. I don't think so. I don't think so either. I agree with you. So for those of you who don't know, we are streaming on DLive. PewDiePie is streaming on DLive as well. This article claims that DLive is a Ponzi scheme because you earn money in lemons, which are basically worthless. You can't sell them anywhere. But DLive recently got acquired by Tron, which is worth something, and they will now be using the Tron blockchain instead of DLive's whatever they were using before. Linos. You know, does that make DLive a Ponzi scheme blockchain? I don't think so. I think Tron is kind of shady, but I mean, they're still, I mean, they acquired BitTorrent. Do you remember BitTorrent?
Yeah, I remember it.
And that's a really important piece of technology, especially if we're going to decentralize like everything in media. You know, it's interesting that he even moved over to DLive in the first place. You know, I think that's why DLive is popular in general. I've never seen a PewDiePie video. Have you?
Yeah, I started watching it recently, actually. It's funny that you...
Wait, recently?
Literally like 2 days ago. I'd never seen a PewDiePie video before like 2 days ago. And then I started watching his, like, for whatever reason, it just popped up on my YouTube stream, and I started watching his like videos where he comments on memes.
Wait, really? That's his content? Is he just kind of comments on memes?
No, I think he does a lot of other stuff.
Interesting.
But he has videos where he just comments on memes.
Weird, man.
Didn't he start out as he was streaming gaming? Didn't he?
You know, I really don't know. That's a good question. I see NC typing. He's about to lay down the law right now.
NC, what the fuck is PewDiePie famous for?
He plays video games and comments on memes. Okay.
Hey, okay, yeah. See, that's what I thought.
All right.
Yeah, I've never watched his video game videos, but his meme videos are kind of funny.
Look, even if lemons is not worth a dime, like we recently implemented Dank Memer into our Discord, and I still have no idea what it really does. Like, I thought initially that we were going to be doing like kind of like you know, it's a way to like use like quickly call on a GIF or a meme in chat. But
Yeah.
what I see people doing is checking their balances and earning more of this currency that I don't even know if it's worth anything. Maybe NC, you know, if it's worth anything?
Dank Memer? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That's weird. No, I've never heard of that.
Huh. Yeah, man. Okay, so if you scroll down in the Discord chat, there's this category called the dump, and in Dank Memer, a Dank Memer channel, and that's where I had to kind of separate it because people were just pinging it for like currency. I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know, but people like collecting things, man, and like even if Lemons is worthless, you know, whatever, fuck it.
Yeah, I don't know. Back to the PewDiePie thing, I think he just got 100 million subscribers.
That's insane. That's insane. That's like half the population of like, that's more than the population in like 95% of the states in America. No, that's all. That's like a quarter of America.
More than the population of Canada, more than the population of most European countries.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's nuts.
That's utterly insane.
He seems like NC is saying he's calmed down over the years, and I mean I didn't watch him back in the day because he was like it was almost difficult to watch him. But when I watched his videos recently, he seemed a little bit more chilled out and more like entertaining to someone, you know, in my demographic. So I could see how he probably has like evolved a bit over the years. Chilled out a bit.
So you're saying that maybe he like initially started as like super hyper, just kind of doing things for reactions, and like now he's calmed down. I mean, he's got to be tired of it, right? Like it's been a decade, right?
Yeah, but I mean, imagine how much money he makes.
I mean, he left YouTube, right? Or I don't know.
Well, no, he's still on YouTube. I was watching his videos the other day. He has 100 million subscribers. He has 102
Jesus.
million. Yeah. Some country, I think it was some city in Canada, put up a billboard when he hit 100 million just to say congratulations.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
All
how
right.
badass. That's how badass this guy is. Like he was kind of. I feel like he was kind of a joke there, at least to me, for a little bit. Like whatever, that's cool that you're making money this way, but it just seems weird to me. But when I saw his video and he's commenting on a news article that is written about him, how some city in Canada put up a billboard just congratulating him, says congrats PewDiePie on 100 million. It was just like, wow, dude, that's pretty badass. I gotta admit that.
Yeah, that is really badass. Can you imagine being able to do that? That's nuts.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're about to.
I couldn't even imagine getting a YouTube channel to like 100 subscribers.
Oh well, I mean, we finally made it. My channel's got 134, which is pretty crazy. Yes, thank you, sir. You know, this week the content is. I'm actually struggling to, you know, figure out content while I wait for products to arrive. You know. Yeah. The consistency is a difficult one.
What products? Can you talk about it?
Yeah. I shared you know, a keyboard earlier in the stream that I'll be reviewing that I'm waiting for. It's let me bring it up. I'm pinging my friend who just got back from Iraq, by the way, seeing if he's available for comment, because I know he said he would come, but he hasn't really showed up. Yeah, so it's this Mojo 60 Ember Bluetooth wireless keyboard. It comes with these beautiful caps. It's decently priced. It's in China. It's going to take forever because they're going into a goddamn holiday.
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
Well, it's good looking.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Yeah, so I'll be thinking about some more things. I think we have a little bit more time. I have some articles from earlier in the week. Maybe we can talk about one thing.
Yeah.
So there's two things. Trump admin is changing the way economic reports are released, and they're battling Apple on creating a backdoor for the government.
Yeah.
You probably read about that.
Yeah.
It's
I haven't read too much in depth, but it's creepy as fuck.
It is creepy. I mean, I understand why they're trying to push for it, but at the same,
We have asked Apple for their help.
Get into this. I can't get into this. God damn it! But I mean, I just think it opens up way too many doors, and it puts everybody at risk. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think of this? What do you think of the early access or restricting news media's ability to prepare advanced stories on market moving economic data?
Yeah, for sure. I'm surprised that they were giving them early access. Why would they do that?
Well, so the article talks about why it is the way it is. They basically they get all the reporters in a room, and they make sure that the accuracy of the data is correct. So they put them all in a room with no internet access. So all their devices are like cut off from the internet, and then they compose the reports, right? And everybody's supposedly supposed to make sure that the data is accurate and the same across the board. And then they kind of flip on the switch for Wi-Fi or internet, and it broadcasts the news all at once. So that's why they have it. To kind of preserve the accuracy of the data, right? So if like everybody's going to the government website for this information, a couple things could happen. The website could crash. And we all know that the government websites haven't been exactly unhackable. Over the years we've seen it hacked and DDoS attacked multiple times.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I mean, I got to imagine that the Treasury Department releases that data as well, like the raw data on their website or something.
Yeah.
And typically the government provides APIs for most of their like pertinent data sets.
Yeah.
So the people that this would really matter to obviously are traders. And so,
right.
The major companies, any major player is just going to start to fight for an API from the Treasury. If there isn't one for all this data, if there isn't one already.
Right. I
think this is more of an attack on the news media. Because now the news media can't profit off of this because they won't be able to release news stories in time for this to be relevant to anyone. Because if they release it and it's inaccurate, and then some company places a trade, for instance, based on that inaccurate information, I think the news media, New York Times or whatever, might open themselves up to liability. I don't know.
Yeah. That's a good point. I didn't really think of it that way. I think you're right. It's more relevant to traders. I mean, they could still profit off of it. The average person still wants to read the news about this stuff, But I mean, even now, information, by the time it gets to me as a consumer, right? So I trade, right? And, you can't just rely on CNBC for live data, right?
Sure, you're light years behind at that point.
Right. And then you've got paid stuff, and then you have things like what is it? Ameritrade that'll give you like a live feed that's a little bit more, it's like a couple seconds off or whatever.
I imagine it's probably more than a couple seconds.
Probably. But yeah, as a consumer trader, it really doesn't affect me as much. Hey, no worries, Jake. We're about to wrap up, man. It's that time. I'm sorry.
What's up, Jake?
But we'll be around next week. Since you're here, I'll just give you. I kind of agree with NC, by the way. Just to wrap that up, is that I think maybe they need to be accountable.
I agree. I think this forces them to be a little bit. If that's the case, if they're liable for printing false statistics and could be sued, then it might be a good thing. I agree. NC might be accountable.
But Jake, since you're here, and probably a couple more people are here, nice, Jake. The archives, basically, when we stream, it gets uploaded to YouTube and it stays there for, as an uploaded video pretty much. And what I'm gonna do, since this like, we usually talk about recent happenings, that's going to probably, I'm gonna start removing past streams. So I removed last week's streams, and now I only have Tuesday's stream, and I'll have tonight's stream up. But going forward, it'll only last for about the week, and then it'll go away.
Why?
For two reasons. It kind of like, one, the information is not as relevant anymore. You kind of got information on a weekly basis, and then two, really, I don't imagine people going back that far watching every show. So it kind of, huh?
I mean, it's your channel, man. Do whatever you want. But I think you're making the wrong move there, bro. I think that the whole value of YouTube is the longevity of it. There's videos that I watch sometimes. Like I follow a lot of channels that are, basically they do something similar to what you're doing and commenting on the news and stuff. And they're shorter videos than this, but
right.
And they'll talk about like one topic in depth. But I'll watch stuff from months ago, and I shuffle through, like right now I'm kind of shuffling like probably 5 to 10 channels on the regular, and so I'm watching them every single day. So I tend to not watch some of their older stuff because I've already seen it. But sometimes like new people will pop up, or they'll reference someone that is like related to them, and I'll go back and watch old videos of theirs. I mean, what's the value of taking it down, I guess, would be my
it kind of so the YouTube content that is pre-recorded,
Jake's
right?
On my side.
Yeah, I know. I'm unlisting it, so like I could pop it back up, but the videos that I do, like keyboard reviews and stuff like that, kind of, because we do this show twice a week, it kind of gets buried amongst it, if that makes sense. That stuff, gets a lot more attention than this stuff. The algorithm also treats live videos a little bit different, like live previously recorded videos a little bit different. It promotes them a smidget less, and it's just not treated the same. So might be a good idea to keep it up. We'll see. I'm keeping an eye on the views and the engagement and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess that would be, if I don't understand the algorithm as well, because I'm obviously not actively building a strategy for a channel. But if there was some reason to do it based on that, then it would make sense to me. But I mean, the other thing you could do is maybe you just break it off into a different channel.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. That's another option.
And you could date them too. You know what I mean? Like you could date them in the thumbnail or something like that, and then in the description just be like, "Oh, hot chicks."
Right.
Just be like, you know, this is relevant to this week or whatever.
Right. I have them all in a playlist. I have unlisted them, but they're still in a playlist. So they probably will still show up. I think unlisted shows up. Anyways, guys.